It's easy to say, make sure your mom's staying hydrated, your dad, your spouse, whoever you are taking care of. But bottom line is, how do you get an adult who doesn't want to drink to drink? So all you can do is offer it, put it there next to them, encourage them, maybe even set a timer, like, oh, the timer just went off, every 30 minutes or so, let's just take a sip. You can only do what you can do. So don't feel guilt, because I know, and being a caregiver, guilt is just kind of goes hand in hand with it. But welcome to Aging in Style, the podcast dedicated to celebrating aging and what it takes to do it well. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a certified senior advisor and senior housing expert. In each episode, you'll learn stories of older adults who are thriving in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and in some cases in their hundreds. Whether you're an older adult or the child of an older adult, this podcast is filled with insightful resources, organizations that are doing incredible work, and stories that will inspire you to volunteer, learn, and who knows, maybe even skydive in your golden years. Hi, welcome to Aging in Style. I'm Lori Williams. I am the host of the podcast, and I am so glad you have joined in. Today, we are going to tackle a subject which is very important. It is dehydration and heat stroke in older adults. And I touch on this every summer because I think it is such an important topic. And now that we are into the summer months and it is heating up everywhere, I don't know where you are, but I'm in the Dallas area, and believe me, it is starting to get hot. So the time is now to talk about this. So it is so vital that we are informed about dehydration and what to look for and how to keep our older loved ones safe. So let's just get started and understand what dehydration and heat stroke are and why they pose such significant risk to our older adults. Dehydration, it occurs when your body loses more fluids than it takes in. And older adults are at a higher risk of this because as we age, our sense of thirst diminishes. And so they're not thirsty, so they think they're fine and they don't drink, and then it leads to dehydration. Also, a lot of our older adults are on medications that actually cause them to lose more fluid and become dehydrated. So it's kind of a double whammy. They're not thinking, they don't feel thirsty, and then they're on this medication that's causing them to lose more fluids. So those are, big concerns for our older adults. So heat stroke, on the other hand, that's different than just dehydration. Heat stroke is a severe form of heat illness that occurs when your body's temperature regulation fails, during like a prolonged heat exposure. That can lead to serious health complications, and in the extreme cases, it can actually even be fatal. So how can we prevent dehydration and, God forbid, heat stroke in our older adults? So I'm going to hit you with 3 essential tips because I want to make this a pretty easy, quick podcast where you've got 3 really strong takeaways. So number 1, and this is the obvious, stay hydrated. Yay, yes. Encourage regular fluid intake. And of course, water is best, but a lot of people don't like to drink water, but you can always add some fruit to it. There's these waters that you can purchase. They're called Hint, where it has just like a hint of flavor. Everything's natural in it, but there's just like a little hint of maybe strawberry or watermelon. There's different flavors you can purchase. And you can even do things like herbal teas, soups, hydrating fruits like watermelon, cantaloupe, cucumber. These are all great options. And then remind older adults to drink even if they don't feel thirsty. And I'm going to stop here and say, all this sounds great, right? I'm a caregiver. I'm the caregiver for my husband. If you listen to the podcast, I take care of my husband, Mark, who's 63 years old. He had 4 strokes a year and a half ago, and he has some severe disabilities due to the stroke. It is not easy to get someone to drink when they don't want to. So that's why I'm going to share this little tidbit with you. I'm in the Dallas area, as I mentioned, and we have had these severe storms over, I don't know, it seems like forever, but we had a week where we lost power 3 times. I mean, that's just ridiculous. The third time, we were without power from 4:30 a.m. until 5:15 in the evening. And during that time, it was warming up in our house. It was about 91 degrees. My husband was sitting in his recliner, which he couldn't recline because we had no power. So he's sitting there. His foot was swelling up. I'm trying to get him to go, lay down in the bed where I can prop him up, prop his foot up, make sure he's drinking water. And he is saying no, no, no to all of this because he doesn't want to. And he won't drink anything. And I'm becoming concerned about dehydration. And there was nothing I could do short of trying to hold him down and pour water down his throat, which obviously I wasn't going to do. So all of these things are, it's easy to say, make sure your mom's staying hydrated, your dad, your spouse, whoever you are taking care of. But bottom line is, how do you get an adult who doesn't want to drink to drink? So all you can do is offer it, put it there next to them, encourage them, maybe even set a timer, like, oh, the timer just went off, every 30 minutes or so, let's just take a sip. You can only do what you can do. So I just want to share that with you. So don't feel guilt, because I know, and being a caregiver, guilt is just kind of goes hand in hand with it, but don't feel guilt over it. You're doing everything possible that you can. You're offering different options, fruit, popsicles, water with fruit, all these different things. If they choose not to drink it, there's really not a whole lot you can do. So that's kind of my soapbox there, but just lots of love. I have lots of love for caregivers because I am in your shoes and I get it 100%. It is not easy. All right, tip number 2, dress appropriately and stay cool. Now, a lot of our seniors are cold inside. And you know what? I'm cold when I walk into a restaurant. I feel like here in the Dallas area, they keep it maybe on 60 in restaurants. And I was just saying to a friend the other day, I'm like, I think maybe I'm becoming like a little old lady because I feel like I need to have a sweater or jacket with me whenever I go out anywhere. You go from outside where it's 98, 100 degrees and then into this cold restaurant or shopping area and you're freezing to death. But in the home or going out, just make sure that they're dressing appropriately. So if they're keeping their house set at 85 degrees, just check, make sure that they have lightweight clothes on, loose fitting, light colored type of clothing, because they can overheat and dehydrate in their home. And so we want to keep an eye on that for our older family members. It's also crucial to have an air-conditioned environment. For example, again, I'll just say here in the Dallas area, we're going to be getting into the months where we're 100 degrees plus. And that is unsafe if someone does not have air conditioning in their home. So there are places that you can go during the day if you don't have access to air conditioning, can't afford it, the air conditioning's broken, you can't afford to fix it. I totally get it. There's so many people right now, not just seniors, but there are a lot of our seniors who are really struggling financially at this time. So there are public places you can go to. And I was trying to think of some kind of off the top of my head, libraries would be a good choice. Any kind of shopping center, the mall, kind of thinking like Whole Foods. If you go there, our Whole Foods has like a little cafe area, maybe you could sit in there. Senior centers during the week, they're typically not open on weekends, but that could also be a good option. But just seek out those environments where you can cool off and you're not just sitting in this hot house and dehydrating. Tip number 3, monitor and limit outdoor activity. So you're going to want to avoid strenuous activities during the hottest parts of the day, which typically is between 10 and 4, but I'm going to say here in Dallas, I would say, till 7 p.m., it's still pretty darn hot. So if outdoor activities are necessary, and I'm thinking gardening for one, if you want to go out and plant your flowers, water your flowers, do some weed eating, whatever it may be, just be safe about it, kind of be thoughtful, go earlier the better. Wear a wide-brimmed hat so you have some coverage from the sun, sunglasses, sunscreen with a high SPF. Anytime you're going outside, it's imperative that you do that and guard against sunburn and skin cancer and all the things that come along with it. I can say for myself, again, because, my husband, he did all the outdoor work. I am not an outdoor kind of girl. I'm just going to be honest here with y'all. I have never really been, let's go work in the yard kind of girl. But I've had to change my ways a little bit. I've hired someone to cut the grass, so that's done. But I have a crepe myrtle tree that just gets crazy and starts growing. And so I have to go out and, trim it. And I don't enjoy that at all. Let me just say that again. I do not enjoy that at all. But I go like 7 a.m. because I know how hot it is outside. I go early in the morning and water my flowers and stuff too. But just remember, it's so important. You want to do these things, but go at the least hot times of the day. So that's what I have for you on staying hydrated and healthy this summer. So to wrap it all up, stay hydrated, drink water, dress appropriately, and monitor outdoor activities. Those are key strategies for you to prevent dehydration and heat stroke in older adults. And by following these 3 tips, you can help ensure that through these summer months, everyone is going to be safe and happy and have a good summer. Because who doesn't love summer? I mean, even though it's hot here, I love summer. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Aging in Style. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with others who may benefit. Stay cool. Stay hydrated and take care. Thanks for listening. And you can find all of our episodes on my website, which is loriwilliams-seniorservices.com, or on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.